Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. So, this week on Tuesday, December 17th, FEAT and FIVY are coming out, and they are the Dorsey Wright income ETFs. And so I thought now would be a great time for us to explore what or who is Dorsey Wright and why do we care about what they're doing? So, Dorsey Wright is an investing firm that was bought by the NASDAQ, and they have their own methodologies in order to create their indexes. So, if you go onto NASDAQ Trader, you can actually see this is a legitimate index, the NWTOIS, and the same thing, but it's who is for the Dorsey Wright indexes that YieldMax is using right now. So what's basically happening here is we're all very spoiled and privileged, and we do not realize how good we have things. So back in the old days, people would mainly just use fundamental analysis, and that was the only thing that was legitimate, basically. It was the only thing that was really used back then. So Dorsey read about the 3-point reversal method and was inspired by it, and so he figured out how to predict future prices of stocks using supply and demand and technical analysis. So he's made some models, and it's not AI, it's actually machine learning, but more or less he wrote a program. You input the numbers, it outputs what its predictions. So his ranking models use the point and figure relative strength charting and a relative strength matrix, and then it's of equal weight. It's periodically reconstituted, and then you have retention mechanism. So I think the major thing to take away from this is that it is a momentum-based index. So it's not necessarily the highest paying distribution YieldMax funds, and these are based off of the past. It's a backwards facing algorithm. It's not trying to predict the future. So if something unexpected happens, this won't include that stock until the next month or exclude it. For example, like SMCI, the news about the auditor came out of nowhere. If that was in FEAT or FIVY or both, then it's, and if SMCI had gotten delisted, then the worst case scenario for this is that FEAT and FIVY would have 4 funds until the next time it was reconstituted a month later. So I think that, YieldMax does have, quote unquote trash, but it does have everything in it for when something comes out of nowhere, and it winds up with a large distribution like PayPal a little while ago. So I actually am going to be very curious to see if FEAT and FIVY ever have different stocks within them, because FEAT is only tracking YieldMax funds and FIVY is tracking the underlying and YieldMax funds. So if YieldMax doesn't do a good job of capturing the upside, then you actually could see different funds within these two. So I think that personally, I like FIVY over FEAT. I can pick out 5 stocks myself. That's fine. But the only reason to choose FEAT over FIVY is if you don't believe in the ratio, the 40-60 split. But overall, I think FIVY is going to have more price appreciation. And so over time, you'll actually have more distributions and in bigger distributions, especially if you can get your cost basis to be pretty low. Like, I think people will be relatively happier being holders of FIVY. So I don't think that FIVY is a YieldMax or YMAG killer, mostly because it is paying on a monthly basis. But I do think that this is competitive with Ulti. And I'm definitely more excited about FIVY and FEAT than I am for the Target 12 funds, because the lower the distribution is, the more competitors we have. Like, if we get below 20%, all of a sudden SVOL's in play, TLTW, SPY-T, all the Roundhill funds basically. Like, if the distribution is less, I would rather have a more stable, more diversified fund. But if we can get something that's on par with something like YieldMax, where you get the 50-60% distributions with FIVY, then, and you get the price appreciation because you are also own the underlying, then I think FIVY will be better than Ulti, like a direct competitor to Ulti, because I do like having the large distributions from Ulti, and I do want to encourage YieldMax to continue doing experiments and giving us new products that no one's seen on the market before. But I think that, you have to be careful with our NAV a little bit. And that, they're going to do the way that they've said they're going to do it. But I think for me and like my risk profile going forward, that something like FIVY, if, and this is a big if, they can prove that they can be NAV stable and have a relatively high distribution, then I really do think, like, I would like to believe in FIVY. Oh, I mean, FEAT too, but like FIVY for the most part. I think that this is a good idea and that they could continue doing things like this. They need a FIVY, but it just be like a 12E and then do it weekly. And just say, like, from each of the weeklies, we pick 2, and we own the underlying and whatever, and then it's every week. And I would do that too. So, are you planning on buying into this? I think it would be a better financial decision for everybody to wait a few months. If it was a good idea to get into it now, it will still be a good idea in March. And then we will have, 3 months to figure out if it is a good idea or not. But I might buy 1 or 2 shares of FIVY this week, just so that it's in my thing and I know to keep track of it. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty interesting fund, and I'm looking forward to keeping track of it. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.